Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. And here on this channel, we talk about everything from homeschooling to homemaking and all the things in between. One of those in between things is our goals, and then we're going to be talking about today my February goals and kind of recapping what January was set up to be. If you missed the January video, I will link it up in the cards. I never remember which side it's on. So I'll link it up in the cards, and then you'll be able to find it down in the description box as well. But that was a great video because my husband actually sat in with me and we kind of went over family couple type goals or aspirations that we had for the upcoming year, and we went over just some main topics that we wanted to hit on, and then just kind of broad goals that we wanted to hit. I don't know if goals is the right word. Maybe you can watch it and decide whichever word you want to use. So we went ahead and set those up for us as a family, and then what I typically do is sit down monthly and kind of check in with you and just tell you how my month went, wrap up, and then what I'm looking forward to for the month ahead. I usually set up goals in some major areas, and then I break it down a little further. So for me, during the school year, I have about 4 areas. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less, but 4 areas typically of what I'm working on. And that is typically faith, fitness, finances, and homeschooling. And oftentimes family will be in there as well. And I will explain a little bit more as the video goes on. So in my faith category, I like to set up something in my faith or spiritual walk that I'm kind of aiming for or reaching for. The ultimate overarching goal is always to grow closer in my relationship with Christ. We are believers in Christ, and so is really a huge part of my life. So for that, I want to continue reading my Bible, but I'm going to already switch it up and do it a little bit differently than what I had set up in January. In January, I wanted to continue on another yearly Bible reading plan because I did one for last year and it worked out well. But this year, I don't think that I'm going to go that route, at least not for this month. I kind of already stopped in January. I had just picked a random yearly reading plan on the Bible app version. But I found that I wanted to be spending more time in certain sections, but I was fighting that feeling of just checking off the readings for the day. So the way it was set up was it had like kind of topical readings for the day, and you had a certain amount of scriptures that you were reading in certain parts of the Bible. And I found that it was becoming more of a checklist and a to-do thing for me than really sitting and studying and soaking up the scriptures. And I don't want to do that. So I want to continue in reading the Bible this year, but I'm going to go at a slower pace for myself, and that way I feel like I have the liberty to, if I really want to hone in on one piece of scripture and sit there on it for a few days, then I can. Or if one day I'm just really enjoying what I'm reading, or I need to know more of the context and the story of it, then I have kind of that permission for myself to continue on and read more of it. So I don't have a set reading plan. I know a couple of my Bibles do, in the back of the Bibles, have a reading plan, and I consider going back and forth if I want to do one of those and just ignore the dates completely and just kind of take it in day by day, or if I want to just pick a book of the Bible and kind of read through all the way and just maybe check off as I'm reading that way. So I don't have a set plan yet. I'm kind of excited to see what the Lord leads me in for this month and see if it'll set up the remainder of my year. But I'm not going to do a Bible yearly reading plan. I'm going to, or at least not for this month. Like I said, it could change. I could find a reading plan that I really enjoy and want to catch up, or want to be a month or 2 behind it. But for this month, I'm going to just kind of read along and not have a set amount of scriptures to read per day. So I hope that makes sense. The other thing that I want to do is I have joined a Bible study online group. I wasn't able to find a Bible study group in my area, but Bible Study Fellowship, I know I mentioned this in another video, has both online meetings and in-person meetings in some areas. Unfortunately for me, they don't have any in my area. So I signed up for an online one, and it is the class that I'm taking is very, very early in the morning. And so when my family was sick and my kids were going through some stuff in the evening hours, I just wasn't able to get up in time and do it. So I want to focus on that for this upcoming month and just make sure that I'm really trying my hardest to get up and get into that kind of community setting of Bible studying. So that is another kind of minor goal in my spiritual area there. The next thing is my fitness. So I have been, I feel like, on a fitness journey for so many years, and I have a couple videos up. I don't have a dedicated playlist. Maybe by the time this video comes up, I'll curate those into this own section and playlist. But I have gone back and forth with things. I get on a roll or in a groove, and then it feels like something happens in life and I kind of derail myself. And I'm okay with that, actually. I'm okay with it because I know that that is life sometimes. Would it be ideal if I could just stay consistent? Absolutely. But that's not life. Life happens. You get sick. There are job losses. There are just hurts. There are mental issues that you may be dealing with. Just a lot of stuff that can happen. And so if you need to take a step back at times from working out consistently or really focusing in on it, I think that that's room to give yourself grace. Now, with that being said, I want to give myself grace, but I don't want to forget it at all. I found that fitness, working out, really helps me mentally as well as physically. And so I don't want to ever, if I have to put it on the back burner sometimes, that's okay, but I don't want to ever completely not come back to it. And so for February, I really need to concentrate and put some goals out for myself, some concrete goals to kind of aim for. For January, I just kind of was like, well, I just want to get back into the rhythm. I want to get back into some sort of rhythm of working out again. And it didn't really happen. In January, we did get sick. And then I started a fast, and I just didn't find that I had enough energy to be doing the workouts that I wanted to, or when I was working out, it wasn't at the intensity I think that I wanted to be doing, and it was very frustrating for me. So going into February, I will still be fasting for the first week of February, but knowing all these things, having prayed about it, just kind of sitting with myself and where my goals are and what I want to set out these concrete goals. And even if I'm getting a workout in and it isn't lifting as much as I wanted to lift, it's not the amount of weights that I had lifted before, I still want to get into our workout area and do something. So with that, I'm going to set up my goals to work out 3 to 4 times a week. I think before I was trying to work out 4 to 5 times a week. And originally I had said I was going to work out 3 times a week, but I think that 3 times a week, honestly, is going to give me permission to slack off way too much. So I'm putting my goal at 3 to 4 times a week, and I'm going to sit down and write down the days of the week that I'm hoping to get these workouts in. That way, it's more of a concrete. I'm putting it in the schedule. I know that I owe myself this commitment. And that's really going to be my main focus for February, is moving my body this 3 to 4 times a week. I'm not going to give myself permission to eat whatever I want. Like I said, for the first week, I'll still be on a fast. But for the remaining 3 weeks, I still want to be eating healthier, but I'm not going to really concentrate just yet on my macros or anything like that. I just want to make sure that I'm not overindulging and let working out be my main focus. Another section that we're working on, or that I'm working on this month, is finances. So for finances, we've actually been doing okay. I don't want to say we're doing great, because towards the end of the year, if I'm quite honest, I kind of just I wasn't as meticulous, I should say, with our budgeting. And it was really hard to sit down and take a look at the numbers again and figure out where all the money went. I know there are so many price increases and things happening, and I think that that was just super stressful for me. I was going through some stuff, fighting myself, I think mentally also, buying out of fear and not really being the best servant I felt I could be or the best steward I felt I could be of our finances. And so coming into this new year, I wanted to really take a look back and get back to doing our finances and our budget. We keep a budget binder, and I do have an older video where I set that up and kind of walk you through it. But I've tweaked a couple of little things. It's mostly the same. So if you want to check out that video, I will link that one as well. But I kind of took a look at some things and tried to figure out what's going to work best for us and what's not. And for the month of February, I just want to be mindful of our tracking. So I need to get back to tracking every dollar that we're spending and going out and not waiting until like the end of the week to do it, or the end of the month when we're closing out the budget. I want to track as soon as I'm spending that money so that I'm more aware of it. And I feel like taking that extra step of writing it down and putting it, like having to do that extra step, will make me think twice about spending the money, or make me more aware at the very least that where our money is going. So like I said, we've not spent oh my gosh, that's a hard word for me. Frivolously. We've not spent carelessly on a lot of things. It's all been stuff that we needed or used up, like groceries. We of course had Christmas, and so we had some Christmas gifts and postage and that kind of stuff that goes with the holidays. We had an increase in our utility bills as well, and so it's just things that happen. And then when you're sick, we had an increase in our medical section, so there was that. So I mean, I'm incredibly grateful and thankful that bills were paid and there was food on the table, but I couldn't be more mindful of where the money is going, and so I want to be sure that I am doing that for the month of February. So to be clear, my goals are to track every dollar that is going out, spending it as I'm spending it, and then also just making sure that I'm getting back into our budget binder and really closing out the month, and taking a look at the bills that are getting paid and what needs to be paid and what's sitting in the account, that kind of stuff. So that is my finance goals. And then the last set of goals that I had set are for our homeschool. Sometimes I will set up goals at like doing morning time or getting into a rhythm of schooling. But this month, honestly, I really need to declutter. So I have so many areas in the house I feel like that could already be decluttered. We've only been in this home for about a little over a year, but I already feel like things could be decluttered and pared down, and we could just be handling our chores, I guess, maybe a little better. I need to really get my kids back on their set of responsibilities and chores around the family so that they can help. But my main focus for homeschool this month is going to be decluttering our homeschool stuff. We have some homeschool supplies and like manipulatives and old curriculum and things like that, and I really want to get into it and figure out what my youngest still needs and can use, and what we can probably let go of and pass on to another family that may find use of it. And I say my youngest son, even though I have stuff for my daughter as well, but my youngest son will probably be the last one that goes through set curriculum, if that makes sense. So since he is the youngest, if I was saving it in curriculum, it would be for him. And then once he's passed out that level, I don't really need to be saving it anymore. But hopefully we can find some families that could really use it, and it will be a blessing to them. I really want to go through all of our homeschool supplies and just kind of thin it out and make that area more functional for us. And that is going to be a little difficult, if I'm honest, because I have a hard time letting go of things that I think could be useful, and that's something that I'm just going to have to deal with. And so I think now that while this declutter bug is in me, where I'm just like, there's too much stuff in the house and we need to tidy it up, I'm going to act on that and start with what I think might be most difficult for me and go through the homeschool stuff first and kind of get that cleared out. So like I said, the area can be more functional and I can use the stuff we have, because what I'm finding is that we have stuff, but I'm not using all the really great things that we have for homeschool because I can't find them, or they're tucked away in a drawer or box somewhere. So hopefully this will help. The other homeschool kind of broad, it's not really just for homeschool, I guess it could just be for our life overall, that I want to work on this month, is re-looking at our day and our time block schedule. So I have sat down and kind of put out some goals for myself mentally of what I think would help me throughout the day, getting outside, working out, that kind of stuff. But I need to start slowly adding in other things to our day, including making time for grading papers. There are some papers and things like that that I need to grade and make sure that my kids are on the right track with, and then prepping for our homeschool week or month, however long I want to prep for, I can find time to prep for. So getting the pages that need to be printed out, or gathering the manipulatives or science projects, or making sure we have all the things we need to do those certain kind of projects. I need time to get that gathered together, so that the day of school I'm not kind of wandering around the house like a chicken without a head, trying to get it all together really quickly while my kids are sitting either bored or getting into trouble because they're bored. So I really need to get a time block schedule in and kind of fit that in somewhere into our week. I don't think that I'll be needing to grade daily. Most of the stuff as our homeschool day flows doesn't need to be graded daily, but more on a weekly schedule. So I need to kind of go in and take a look at our week and better schedule that out and figure out some new rhythms and routines that might work for us. And that is it for the month of February. I feel like it was a lot of rambling going on, and I apologize for that. In my head, I was like, here are my goals, but somehow it is in my ear. You can hear my kiddos. They are in the next room, as they usually are when I'm filming. And I'm trying to half listen to them and make sure everything's okay and half film this. So I apologize for the rambling. Hopefully it makes sense. Comment down below and let me know if you're setting up monthly goals and how they're going. I really would love to know, so that we can create a really great community here and cheer one another on. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me. It is really, really appreciated. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for being a part of our little YouTube family. And if you're not, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any of our inspiration and chaos.